In 1975, a factory worker in Britain earned about £55 a week. That's roughly £2,800 a year. Now let me tell you what that money could do. Buy a three-bedroom semi for £12,000, about with 4 years' wages. Run a family car for £3 a week in petrol. Take the whole family to Spain for a fortnight for less than a month's pay. Pay the mortgage, the bills, the food, the clothes, and still have money left for the pub on Friday night. On one wage, the 1970s, the decade everyone calls a disaster. Power cuts, strikes, inflation, chaos. That's what the history books say. But I'm willing to bet you remember something very different. You remember buying your first house. You remember your first holiday abroad. You remember color television, lighting up the living room. You remember street parties and long, hot summers. You remember feeling that life was getting better. The 1970s weren't a disaster. For millions of ordinary families, they were the last golden decade. The last time a single wage could build a proper life. And if you lived through it, you already know I'm telling the truth. In this first part of our 1970s series, we're going to remember what life was really like. Not the headlines, not the politics, the real life, your life. Don't forget to subscribe for more trips down memory lane. First, let's talk about money, because this is where the 1970s get completely misunderstood. Yes, prices rose. Yes, inflation was high. Sometimes 15%, 20%, even 24%. The newspapers screamed about it. The politicians panicked. But here's what they never told you. Wages rose too. And for most of the decade, wages kept up with prices. Let me show you. In 1970, average male manual wage, about £28 a week. In 1975, average male manual wage, about £55 a week. In 1979, average male manual wage, about £80 a week. Nearly tripled in 9 years. Did prices go up? Yes. Did your wages go up? Also yes. The cost of living rose, but so did your pay packet. You weren't falling behind. You were keeping pace. And here's the beautiful thing. At the end of each year, you weren't poorer. You were roughly the same. Sometimes even a little bit better. Now, let me give you some real prices. This is 1975, right in the middle of what they called crisis. A loaf of bread, 15 pence, a pint of milk, 7 pence, a dozen eggs, 35 pence, a pound of butter, 32 pence, a pound of cheese, 40 pence, a pound of bacon, 55 pence, a pound of beef mince, 45 pence, a chicken, about 60 pence, a bag of sugar, 25 pence, a jar of instant coffee, 50 pence, a tin of baked beans, 8 pence, a packet of cornflakes, 18 pence, the weekly shop for a family of 4, about £10 to £15 on a wage of £55 a week. That's roughly 20 to 25% of your income on food. Today, many families spend 30 to 40% on food and groceries. The maths was simply kinder. What about the bills? Let me show you. Rent on a council house in 1975, about £4 to £6 a week. Mortgage on a modest house, about £15 to £20 a week. Gas and electric combined, maybe £2 to £3 a week. Rates, what we now call council tax, perhaps £2 a week. Television license, £12 a year, about 23 pence a week. Add it all up. Housing, bills, food, maybe £30 to £35 a week total. On a wage of £55, that left £20 or more every single week. For clothes, for the car, for savings, for the holiday fund, for life, not surviving, living. Now let's talk about the big one. Houses. In 1970, the average house price in Britain was about £5,000. By 1975, it had risen to about £12,000. By 1979, it was around £20,000. Sounds scary, right? Prices quadrupling in 9 years? But wait, look at the wages again. In 1970, average annual wage about £1,500. House price about £5,000. Ratio 3.3 times your yearly wage. In 1975, average annual wage about £2,800. House price about £12,000. Ratio 4.3 times your yearly wage. In 1979, average annual wage about £5,000. House price about £20,000. Ratio 4 times your yearly wage. 4 times your annual wage. That's it. Today, the average house costs 8 to 10 times the average wage. In London and the South East, 12 times or more. In the 1970s, despite everything, houses were still affordable. A working man could still buy a home for his family. How did you get a mortgage? Not like today. You walked into the building society, the one on the high street, the one everyone knew. You sat in a small office across from a manager, a real person, looking you in the eye. He asked simple questions. Where do you work? How long have you been there? What do you earn? Are you a steady sort of person? He might know your boss. He might know your father. He might have seen you at the football. If you had a job, if you had a deposit, if you seemed reliable, you got the mortgage. A handshake, a few signatures. The keys in your hand. That was it. No waiting months for approval. No rejection emails. No endless paperwork. A man trusted another man. And that trust built homes. Let me ask you directly. What year did you buy your first house? What did it cost? What were you earning at the time? Write your numbers in the comments. I want to show the young people watching exactly what was possible when the system worked for ordinary people. Let me give you the numbers. A 2-week package holiday to Spain in 1975. £50 to £80 per person. For a family of 4, £200 to £320 total. On a weekly wage of £55, that's about 4 to 6 weeks' pay for the entire holiday. Expensive? Yes, but achievable. You saved all year. A few pounds a week in the jar. Maybe the Christmas club helped. And in August, you climbed on that charter flight at Luton or Gatwick or Manchester. 3 hours later, you stepped off into blazing sunshine. What was it like? The hotel might be basic, but it had a swimming pool. Your kids had probably never seen a swimming pool except at the local baths. Now they had one right outside their room. You ate strange food, tried paella and sangria, complained that the chips weren't like back home, then got used to it. You sat by the pool with a book, actually relaxed. The children were brown as berries by the end of the fortnight, and you came home with a tan, a sombrero, and a donkey made of straw. But what if you couldn't afford Spain? No problem. Britain still had the seaside, and in the 1970s, the British seaside was still booming. Blackpool was packed. Scarborough was thriving. Great Yarmouth, Skegness, Margate, Brighton, all of them busy every summer. And there was something even better. The holiday camp. Butlins, Pontins, Warners. These weren't just holidays, they were experiences. A week at Butlins in 1975 might cost £40 to £60 for the whole family. That included accommodation, a chalet with beds and a little kitchen. Meals, breakfast and dinner in the big dining hall. Entertainment all day, every day. Kids' clubs, so the parents could actually rest. Everything was included. Once you walked through those gates, you didn't need to spend another penny. Now, let's go home. Because the 1970s home was changing fast. And mostly, it was getting better. Central heating. In 1970, only about 30% of homes had central heating. By 1979, it was over 55%. For the first time, you could walk from room to room without freezing. No more ice on the inside of windows. No more huddling around one fire. No more taking a hot water bottle to bed just to survive the night. The whole house was warm. It sounds simple now. Back then, it felt like luxury. Fitted carpets, wall to wall, covering the cold floorboards, soft under your feet. No more lino, no more rugs that slipped, no more frozen toes in the morning. You could walk to the bathroom at night without your feet turning blue. Color television. This changed everything. In 1970, only about 2% of homes had color TV. By 1979, it was over 65%. The world suddenly looked different. Match of the day in full color. Coronation Street looking real. The news showing the world as it actually was. You remember gathering around when the color TV first arrived. Everything seemed brighter, more alive, more exciting. Even the test card was beautiful. What about cars? The 1970s were the decade when car ownership became normal. In 1970, about 52% of households had a car. By 1979, it was over 57% and rising fast. And for the first time, many families had 2 cars. What did cars cost? Let me show you. In 1975, a Ford Escort, about £1,500 new. A Morris Marina, about £1,400 new. A Vauxhall Viva, about £1,300 new. A decent second-hand car, maybe £300 to £500. On a yearly wage of £2,800, a new car was about half a year's pay. A second-hand car, a few months' savings. Expensive, yes, but reachable. And what about running costs? Petrol in 1975, about 72 pence a gallon. That's about 16 pence a litre. Today, petrol is over £1.40 a litre. Even accounting for inflation, petrol was cheaper in real terms. A full tank might cost £3 to £4. A week's driving, maybe £3. You could afford to run the car and still have money for everything else. The 1970s weren't perfect. The work was hard. The winters were cold. There were real problems. But the basic deal, work hard, live decently, still worked. A single wage could buy a house, could run a car, could take a family on holiday, could build a life. That's not nostalgia. That's fact. So what happened? How did we go from that to a world where young people with degrees can't afford a flat? That story is coming. But for now, I want you to remember. Remember the pay packets. Remember the holidays. Remember the street parties. Remember the feeling of enough. And share those memories with the people who need to hear them. Before you go, what's your strongest memory of the 1970s? The house you bought? The holiday abroad? Something else entirely? Write it in the comments. And share this video with your children and grandchildren. Show them what life was like when ordinary workers could still afford to live. Subscribe for part 2, where we'll go deeper into the 1970s, the work, the unions, the changes coming, and what it all meant for families like yours. Thank you for watching.